What's up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to review Snowfall Season 6, Episode 9. So if you haven't seen the 9th episode of Snowfall of Season 6, turn this video off, go watch the episode, and come back and watch this video. Cool? Anything I say are my opinions, my thoughts and expressions, and how I feel. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. Just wanted to get that little disclaimer out there. Yeah, and I also tend to like stutter, pause. You will hear me say like 1,000 times. And I'll be over here looking at my notes, make sure I'm on track with what I'm talking about, this, that, and the third. And of course, I got my water bottle. I forgot to take this joint out a little early, so it ain't got that much water in it. Try to take what I got, while I can, and let it melt while I'm doing the review. Cause ain't that much melted water. It's like all ice. But yeah, yeah. Last chance, if you haven't seen the 9th episode of Season 6 of Snowfall, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. I'm gonna grade this episode. This episode was like super slow. It didn't really give us too much this episode. It was just like a lot of talking. They gave us that big thing at the end, but I don't know about how I feel it. So dang, what would I grade this episode? Cause this is like the episode before the finale, right? Like pre-finale episode. I'm gonna grade it a dang. This episode was super slow for me. I'm gonna grade it a B plus. Give it a B plus, yeah. Cause it moved kind of slow. It wasn't that much that happened this episode. I mean, stuff happened, but it wasn't a lot of action stuff that we saw this episode. It was more so like gearing up for the finale type stuff. All right, so we get the first scene. Louie, she in the house. I'm thinking she about to run or something because she bagging up some money or something. But then she take it downstairs to one of her little henchmen, tell him to hold it or whatever. So she gets a page, and it's from Franklin. She called Franklin. He like, look, you about to get raided by the DEA. And as Franklin telling her this, you hear the police, they starting to come into her place. You can hear him already messing with her henchmen downstairs. He like, Louie, he telling Louie on the phone, like, if I was you, I would run. So Louie, she break up out of there. She kicking it. So that's how the first scene start. Like, Louie, she running. Like, run, Forrest, run. So Louie, she breaking for that shit. So they got Teddy ass, Gustavo and Franklin. They got Teddy ass. So of course they got his ass tied up or whatever to the chair, whatever. So you know Teddy, he just gonna say whatever he can to possibly get away, get freed. And we already know that that's not happening. So he get the what he say? Oh, you're not gonna get away with this. He's like, you can't do stuff like this. Basically just trying to put fear into Franklin and Gustavo. But mind you, I said this when the KGB dude finally I was about to say I found out names this episode, even though I don't even think it mattered because I think this is like the episode before the finale. But I found out some names on this channel. I figured out I found out the KGB dude name, the CIA dude name, and Teddy's girlfriend's name. Irrelevant bitch, I don't like her. But yeah. So the KGB dude's name is Ruben. So I might say KGB dude or I might say Ruben because Ruben's quicker to say. But so remember when Ruben first approached Gustavo with that deal, it was like I get you out the country, get you and your family money and all that, you turn over Teddy or whatever. He was like, I can help you. He was like, because Teddy can't help you because Teddy don't work for the CIA no more. So, Gustavo didn't know. And when that episode aired, I was like, damn, dude. I was like, I think Franklin already know that Teddy don't work for the CIA no more. So in this moment, Teddy trying to tell them, like, you ain't going to get away with this, and the third. Franklin was like, yeah, see, that would have scared me if I knew if I didn't know that the CIA already cut you off. So Teddy was looking like, oh, shit, you already knew. And I was in my head like, I knew Franklin already knew that. I was like, Franklin knew that before Gustavo did. So I was like, I knew Franklin knew. So, Franklin, he just wants his money. That's all he care about. So he just like, yeah, you going to sit right here tied to this chair till the morning when the bank's open. He's like, and you going to transfer that money back or I'm going to blow your brains out, basically. Teddy's like, let's be sensible here. Franklin like, man, we past sensible shit. He get the, yeah, we passed sensible. You done took all my money. You killed my pops, I killed your pops. This, that, and third. Just started naming all the stuff they did. He started naming all the stuff he did to get Teddy. He's like, I did this, that, and the third. Got the KGB on your ass, this, that, and the third. I wonder if Teddy thought that Franklin was like the one that got the KGB involved in the first place. One whole time it was Sissy. Sissy. We'll get into that. So remember the last episode, Gustavo and Ruben got into it and Gustavo knocked Ruben out. So this episode, they got Ruben too. He's trying to plead with him. He's like, Franklin, I can still help you, buddy. This, that, and third. Franklin like, nah, Ruben, you can't help me. Plus, you was about to let me hang right there. When you came in, he was yelling shit out there. He was like, Ruben, let me down, motherfucker. And Ruben wasn't doing nothing. So Franklin like, nah, fuck that, Ruben. Fuck you, Ruben. But at the end of the day, we all knew not to trust Ruben. Like, especially after what happened with Avi. So it's like, of course, Franklin didn't trust no Ruben. So he put Ruben in the same little holding cage situation as Teddy. Both of them tied to chairs. Both of them got bags over their head. So he's just like, Franklin, he's like, I don't want no bullshit. No chattering or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So V called. He tell him, like, I did it, V. I got him. He was like, so now, he was like, ain't nothing you shoot. He tell her, like, nothing she can do here. Just rest and all that. So I'm wondering, did she have a miscarriage? Because last episode, she had that pain and, like, was falling. And, like, they ain't really tell us nothing this episode about that. So I'm wondering, like, did she have a miscarriage? Or was it just, like, some little complication that she had? So Sissy and Leon, they show up. So he tell him, like, yeah, I got him. And Sissy was like, you got him in the same room. And Franklin was like, yeah, but they tied up, the heads bagged. And Sissy was like, that don't matter. Like, they could be in there, like, they could be in there scheming against us. So that's not a good idea. And Gustavo, he chimes in and says something, but I ain't really make out what he said. It sounded like he said it in Spanish. Yeah, but they be blowing me sometimes, like, for the most part, when Gustavo said, like, when it's something important, they make sure they put them Spanish subtitles. But for, like, light stuff, they don't really be showing the Spanish. And I be like, no, I want to know what the Spanish is. Know what they talking about. What he's saying. So Franklin tells Leon when him and Gustavo leave to move Ruben to, like, the garage or something. Basically, I guess, in a different spot from Teddy. So Franklin leave with Gustavo. Franklin was like, I got a promise I got to keep. I'll be back. So I guess now we about to see what... Remember last episode, Gustavo told Franklin, I got one more favor for you. I need to borrow your jet, your plane. So that's what I'm thinking, like... First I thought he was going to use the plane to get his family out of there. But then when the DEA said his family already been gone, I was like, okay, the plane ride must be for him. So the dirty ex-cop dude, I still haven't learned his name, which is crazy. I still haven't learned his name. So, yeah, he's still going to be called Dirty Ex-Cop. The one that shot Kane. But, he picks up Louie. Because, Louie on the run now trying to hide from the DEA. She just ran out of her crib. I wonder what happened with that money that she handed her henchmen before they showed up. Like, dang, did that money get seized? That's crazy if it did. But she hop in this car. He like, yeah, it's true. They out here looking for you. He was like, how long the DEA been looking for you? Then the third. Then they get the Franklin tell you if they mention my name or stuff. He just trying to grill her, trying to see exactly what the situation is. And Louis, she was like, the nigga waited until after I helped him to tell me about the DEA. So, but she called Franklin a snitch bitch. She said the snitch bitch waited until after I helped him to tell me I was being raided. So no to none of those questions that he asked, basically. And I was like, damn, you calling Franklin a snitch bitch? He wasn't even working with the DEA. That was Gustavo. But I mean, of course, Louis don't know that. So she thinking the worst of Franklin, of course. So he like, yeah, you got me hemmed up in a situation now. And I'm like, how did she have you hemmed up, sir? How did she have you hemmed up? You're not even a police officer no more. You on your own. How she has you hemmed up out here? I was like, shut up. Like, you sound dumb. So he like, what's your plan? You got some money put away? He already trying to find out, because he's shady. So she tell him she got a house out like somewhere far and with some money stashed up and a couple of passports, things like that. So it's like a quick little sneaky silence, of course. So the dirty cop, he like, how much money is it? So she tell him about like $250,000 or like almost $1 million, something like that. So he get I want half, or you could do this on your own, basically. You could be out here on your own, I won't help you. And I'm still in my head like, how can he help? I'm so confused. I'm still confused as to why they even asking for his help. Like, why do they need his help? He don't work for the force no more. He gets high. Like, I don't even think he got the connections that he be pretending like he got. I don't know. I mean, he did have them officers pull up with Jerome when he beat that girl to death. But I don't know. I was just like, what kind of pull that could he really have that you need him this much? So she like, yeah, you get me out of town, I give you half, no problem. And that bothered me. A part of me in my head is like, yeah, I know Franklin robbed them and all that, but at the same time, Louis, all you got is $250,000 stashed up somewhere. I don't know. Man, why is already hit like burning my throat today? But then she did just give her money, like two big bags of money to her henchmen. So maybe, I don't know. But I was just like, that don't seem like Louis would have that. I feel like Louis would have more somewhere. Franklin got more than that, and he was broke. He stole from them. So I know she got him. So I knew that this was some type of weird setup, but I didn't know on whose part, his or hers, because he was same as sneaky. But they definitely made it turn into a whole different situation. Dang, I got a burp and it's not coming out. So Sissy comes. So like I said, Sissy and Leon, they there. So Ruben get to Sissy. I know you're there. I can smell your perfume. So I was like, Sissy must be one of those old black ladies that like that wear a lot of like they just always have a fragrant smell. So I was like, I can imagine like Sissy definitely having like perfume smell. He's smelling it. He recognizing it. So he's like, I can smell your perfume. So he called out to her. He's like, your son is in big trouble. So of course Leon was watching them. So Sissy was like, Leon, give us a moment to talk, please. So Leon, he leaves him alone. He was like, I'm gonna be outside if you need me. So Sissy, she take the bag off of Ruben's head. So he get to start talking about, I know you must be frustrated because of the progress, like not moving it fast enough. So Sissy, she cut him off. Yeah, she cut him off, and she was like, you betrayed my trust and you manipulated my pain and my son. So I was just like, oh snap, Sissy ain't playing this episode, and we see. Anyway, so Ruben get to talking about he was following orders, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, he an agent, this, that, and the third. So that triggers Sissy a little bit. He says, I was just following orders. She steps a little closer. So Ruben get a little anxious. He gets to yelling out, I got recordings of Franklin. And a part of me was like, don't Franklin already know that? Because I could have swore, like, when they first met, well, I don't know. Maybe Franklin didn't know that their conversation was recorded. Maybe he just thought that he was just giving him info and he was taking it back to his people. Because like he said, I mean, like Ruben continues to say to Sissy, he tells her he had a briefcase that recorded every conversation with him and Franklin, maybe even him and Sissy too. Said that he like got it all detailed. It's all in detail, this, that, and the third. So he's like, those tapes are with my superiors. He was like, and if they don't hear from me in 24 hours, the all that goes to the press, this, that, and the third. Which won't be good for Franklin. So it's crazy because Sissy, she's at this warehouse watching Teddy and Ruben, and she goes to both of them. And they both like say things that get her like amped up, making it seem like, oh shit, is Sissy gonna actually let them go because of this? So in that moment, Sissy looking like nervous, like, oh shit, they got tapes, and if they don't let Ruben go, they gonna send him to the press. He's like, you know it'll ruin your family, and I don't want that. He's like, so if you let me go, he was like, you just let me go. He was like, you do whatever you want to Teddy, and then you give him to me, and I make sure that I find out, what happened with your family, with your husband. I get the answers that you need, this, that, and the third. Just trying to get his way out of the situation at the end. So they cut away from that. So that's what made me think like, oh shit, Sissy might give in. Especially since she's been working with Ruben from the jump. Honestly, I feel like try not to cough. Honestly, I feel like Sissy shouldn't even have been there. Like, why, Franklin? Why is your mother there? I get it. She been working with Ruben and she been wanting Teddy for a long time. But it's just like, I don't know. At that moment, I don't know. So after that, Leon, he asked Sissy, he's like, what's Ruben like a communist? What is he like? Sissy's like, he tell you what he tell you what you want to hear. He do what the fuck he want. So Leon was like, what happens if you do what he wants and gives him Teddy? And Sissy was like, I lose my son for good. And so then Sissy, she goes to Teddy. Pull the bag off his head. He get to miss Saint. She said she get to miss his Saint, motherfucker. Like, don't forget it. I was a married woman. You should know you killed my husband. So it's Mrs. Saint. You get it correct. So she said, it's Mrs. Saint. So he get the, what are you doing here, Mrs. Saint? Like, I know Franklin don't got you here watching us, this, that, and third. We get to going into that. So, you know, Sissy, she want to know automatically. She says, what'd you do to Alton? Because like I said, we never seen a body. So she was like, just tell me what you did to Alton, and I'll make sure Franklin takes it easy on you. I'll make sure your death be quick, whatever you want to call it. So Teddy was like, Franklin want that money, so he ain't going to let nothing happen to me. As we see in this episode, like Franklin, he want to kill Teddy, but at the same time, he still want that money. So he ain't doing nothing deadly to Teddy. But he sure is. He definitely torturing him, though. So he get the, Franklin ain't going to do nothing. He want that money too bad. He get the best thing you could do right now is just let me go so I can clean up the mess you made. So I was in that moment like, oh, so do you know that Sissy was the one that brought the KGB in? Yeah, so in that moment she tells him like the KGB wants her to turn him over. But I still don't think in this moment that Teddy knew that Sissy was the one that got the KGB involved from the jump. I think he still thinks it's Franklin. Because like Sissy said, Teddy don't think Sissy would do anything. And Teddy wrong for thinking that. As we see it later in this episode. Where am I? So Teddy, he tries to start saying shit like why she don't want to turn him over to the KGB. So she cut him off. She was like, do you understand the pain and suffering that you caused? And, or is it all methodical to you? Like, is it all just a chess move? So Teddy says, I don't see how I've caused any pain and suffering. Da 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 da. So Sissy was like, well, you work for the government and you're funneling like pure cocaine through the streets and this, that, and the third. Teddy I ain't cooking it up. I ain't rocking it up. I ain't out here selling it. I ain't out here slinging it on the corners. And this, that, and the third. He was like, so, what did he say? He's like, he ain't putting a gun to nobody's head and telling them to smoke the crack. He says if crackheads can't have discipline and like want a better life, then you can't blame him for this, that, and the third. Just like all bullshit. Like, you responsible for getting to the hood. So it's just like, you still responsible. Like, no matter which way you try to sugarcoat it. So he tried to say all this stuff like, can't blame me for it. So he's like, what kind of world are you living in? He was like, and what are you doing out here besides laundering your son's money and helping him run his empire, this, that, and third. So, Sissy, she already felt the way about that from jump, like from when she first started doing it. So it probably hit a nerve, but she ain't letting it show. But it hit a nerve a little bit because she get up. That's what Teddy... She gets... Every time she gets... Like, she did the same thing with Ruben. When she got up or, like, got close, they want to reveal something that make her think, like, oh, maybe I got to let them go. So she, like, rises over him. He gets the, oh, you want to know about Alton? You want to know about Alton? She was like, there's nothing that can be... What'd she say? She was like, she starts to like put the bag back over his head. He was like, you want to know about Alton? And she was like, ain't nothing that can be said or done about Alton's, about Alton. You see? Come on. Yeah, she said ain't nothing that can be done about that. She was like, I'm just gonna find comfort in knowing that you're gonna die here in this warehouse, in this place. So in this moment, I was going to say, I told y'all niggas. But as we see in the episode, we'll see. So, after Sissy says that, like, ain't nothing I can do about that, like, I'm going to just find comfort in knowing that you're going to die right here. Continues to try to put the bag on his head. So he yells out, Alton is alive. So at this moment, I was like, oh, snap, I knew it. Because I kept saying that all season. I was like, I don't think Alton dead because they never showed us a body. So I was saying it the whole time. So I was like, oh, snap, I told y'all niggas. But as we see in the episode, we'll see. I don't want to say it just yet because I like to go scene for scene. But In that moment, I was like, oh, shit. Like, I was right. Like, I knew Alton was not dead. So he yells out, Alton is alive. And Sissy's like, fuck you. And he says, no, he's alive. Gets to telling them, like, I was watching y'all in Cuba. I watched when you left. I grabbed Alton. I drugged him. I took him to Puerto Rico and threw him in a jail. So he's sitting somewhere in a Puerto Rican jail. That's what he tells Sissy. He was like, you want to see him? So Sissy irritated. Because Ruben and Teddy have both said something to her to make her feel like she has to release them both, one or the other. So to Sissy, she storms out, tell Leon, put the bag back over his head. So I say, oh, snap. So then we get this scene between Franklin and Gustavo. So I'm thinking that this might be the last time that we see Gustavo, because if the finale is next week, then this might be the last time we see Gustavo. So he drops him off on a PJ. So that must have been the favor, like drop me off somewhere where I want to go. So Gustavo, he by the departure. He tell Franklin, he's like, promise me that Teddy is not going to be alive to, like, come after me and my family. Like, you got to make sure that all this wasn't for nothing. So Franklin was like, yeah, I promise you that. He was like, and I hope you get to see your family again. Because remember, his girl and her kids, they went their separate ways after Ruben showed up in their house. Like, with no invite, just popped up in their house. She was like, nah, maybe you shouldn't follow us. So Franklin tells him, like, yeah, I hope you get to see your family again. So he asks Gustavo, he's like, what you gonna do now? Gustavo's like, I don't know. Like, the sky is the limit now. Franklin was like, you wanna go back to wrestling? So Gustavo was like, nah. Oso's retired. They laughing about it. Franklin was like, well, you come up with another name. Gustavo said something, I can't remember what he said, but like, he waves off, and Franklin is like, oh, so, because, remember, that was his favorite wrestler in the beginning. That's how they met. So I really feel like that was the, I do feel like that was the last time that we're going to see Gustavo. And I mean, hey, I'm glad Gustavo got away, because I really didn't think Gustavo was going to get away. He was jammed up in too many situations. So, that's lit. So, back in the car with Dirty Ex-Cop and Louie. So, he asking her more about the property that they were supposed to be on their way to get this money or whatever, and these passports. So she telling them, like, oh, yeah, me and Jerome, we've been looking through properties, trying to find somewhere to, like, stash some cash. Stash large amounts of cash, things like that. And this lady at the state, we heard her talking about it, so we jumped on it. That's how we got this property or whatever. So the Dirty Ex-Cop, he just low-key trying to get the info. Because he going to try to double-cross her. Off Bucks. You could tell, because he asking a lot of questions. Which I don't understand, because it's like, he shouldn't be in the position to do this, because he don't work nowhere. He's not a cop no more. Makes no sense. So he get the, I gotta piss. So he pull over. He go behind some tree, and I'm thinking he hitting a cigarette at first, but it looked like he hitting the pipe. So this nigga pulls over to go behind the tree and get high. So now that tells me, like, this nigga is like super, he's a super tweaker. Super tweaker. This nigga had to pull over to get high. When she's supposed to be on the run and shit. So that's another reason why you don't trust him. Like, he's supposed to be trying to get you out of here. He gotta stop and take a smoke break. A get high break. Whole pipe and shit. So Louie, she go over there, she catch him, but she already knew what it was. So she come up on him. He's like, Louie, what you doing? So she like, let me see your pager. So, you know, she's still on this. Because I knew at the funeral she ain't bad as shit about Jerome not paging him when Louis got grabbed up. But she let it go because it was the funeral. She ain't even want to get into it. So I knew she ain't believe him when she asked him back then. So she was like, let me see your pager. So he get the he saying no. He see her holding his gun. So he like, no. And Louis, what the hell you got my gun for? Give me my gun. So she pointed at him. She get the let me see your pager. Oh, ain't no top on here. Yeah, so she asked him again, like, give me your damn pager. So he gets, I don't know what you think you're gonna find in there, this, that, and the third. Those the page over there. He was like, well, go for it. So she get to going through his pager, and she says, I knew it. He did call you. Like, which we seen play out on the, we seen it play out on the, what's it called? Dang. We seen it play out on the episode that Jerome died on. Yeah. He paged him, and he was in his car getting high, and he ignored it. Or he missed it, didn't even hear it. So she get that, I knew it. Like, I knew he paged you. She was like, what, you was too high to pick up the pager? So he get to denying. He's like, ain't nobody paged me. He's talking about no. But she looking right at it. So, like, he tweaking, but he had, because he just finished getting high. So he denying it like a crackhead would do. So he's talking about, yeah, he ain't paged me. I don't know what you're talking about. So she like, give me your car keys. He like, come on. I'm telling you, he ain't paged me. So she shoots one shot in the air. No, she ain't shooting in the air. She shot like right beside him. He made him jump. Just like scare him. He get the, man, you calling her crazy. So he was like, I'm not giving you my keys. So he was still trying to stand his little ground. So she get the, I don't want to have to leave your kids without a father, this, that, and the third. But I will put a bullet right in your brain right now if you don't give me them keys. So he finally gives her the keys. So then the dirty ex-cop, he realizes, he like, it was never no money or no house, was it? So she don't say yes or no. She just get the, get on your, lay face down. And don't move till I leave. So she hop in his car and she dipped. So I was like, yeah, that story didn't even make sense. Only $250,000 for Louis? Like, no. I was like, that don't make no sense. And why would it just be stashed at a house somewhere? Is the security there? I don't know. But I was like, yeah, I ain't buy that story anyway. So I was like, he just caught on. But I was glad it worked out in Louis' favor and not his favor. Because I thought he was going to end up killing her or something, double-crossing her. Especially when he said he had to pull over the pistol sign. I thought he was going to try, like, run up on her, kill her. I don't know. It was given he was going to try to double-cross her first. Which we knew was going to happen. I mean, he was going to try to double-cross her first. But Louis got to him first. And I'm glad it played out that way. I'm glad they made it play out that way. So the rest of this episode mostly is like Franklin and Teddy just having conversation. More so Franklin trying to get his money and Teddy trying to gear it away to something else, and Franklin not trying to hit the bullshit. So he back at the warehouse talking to Teddy. It's the next morning too, so he's like, good morning. Now you ready to get these accounts together? So Teddy asks him for some water. Franklin gets him some water, but gives him like the littlest sip there could ever be, the tiniest little sip ever. Gives him the tiniest sip possible. He was like, account numbers first. Like, and then you get some water. So, Teddy trying to get a situation away from the money. He get the, what did you offer Gustavo to make him turn on me, this, that, and the third? Franklin was like, I gave him a lot less than what I thought I was going to have to. But he did. First he offered him, it was supposed to be $10 million. But then he ended up having to give Gustavo $1 million. And I think he borrowed half of that $1 million from Leon. Because the episode of the repass, was that the episode of the repass? I think it was the episode of the repass when he asked him for... No, it wasn't the episode of the repass. It was the episode before... Was it the episode of Jerome's death? When he asked Leon for that money? Either way, that $500,000, he probably got that from Leon. That episode when he asked Leon for that money. He said, I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay you back. Asked him what my credit looked like, this, that, and the third. So we know that might have been from... That half of that might have been from Leon. Where am I? So yeah, Franklin says I gave him less than what I thought I had to. And Teddy say some bullshit. Franklin ain't trying to hear. He's like, just stop stalling. Like, just, come on, account numbers. Like, that's all Franklin care about. So he told him, stop stalling. You know, Teddy, he like, would you give up your only leverage? Like, he was like, he said, would you give up your only leverage if you was in my position? And Franklin was like, I was in your position. So he get to talking about how when they first met, Teddy, like, low-key kidnapped him. Because wasn't Franklin 17? I can't remember. But yeah, you know, tased him, threw him in his trunk, this, that, and third, trying to scare him. So Franklin was like, I always wonder why you did it that way and not just be a simple person and just introduce yourself and be like, you want to do business. And Teddy was like, I had to see if he was ready for what was to come. See if he was strong enough. Franklin wasn't trying to hear that bullshit. He was like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. So Franklin gets to saying it was all like a manipulation game. You just wanted to like see how I operated and stuff. That's the only reason you took me to that Iranian bank, was because you wanted to see where my money was at. This, that, and the third. He said, ain't you in here feeding my mother lies about Alton? He was like, let me tell you something. He was like, so Teddy tries to say, it's true. And Frank was like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck if Alton's dead or alive. It don't matter to me. Basically try to let Teddy know, like, Alton being alive somewhere in Puerto Rico don't scare him. Don't faze him. So Franklin gets the account numbers again. So Teddy was like, I don't have them memorized. So Franklin was like, all right, where you got them written down at? So Teddy paused. Don't say nothing. He quiet for a second. I don't want to say pause too. You know, some people say pause to say no homo, stuff like that. So when I'm saying pause on here, it's like a quiet. It's like a brief silence. That's what I mean when I say pause. If I say no homo, that means no homo. But if I say pause, then that means brief silence. Where is it? So Franklin, he of course fed up with Teddy still trying to stall out. Teddy talking. He asked Teddy where we got the account numbers written down there. Teddy stalling them out. So Franklin was like, I just want you. I don't think you understand how desperate I really am. Says, well, I guess I'm gonna have to show you. I'm gonna make you see. Like, he takes his gun. Now, mind you, I don't know the types of guns, but it looks like a. Don't even get me started. I don't know, but it's a gun. And he empties all the bullets out. I want to say no, it's not a pistol. I don't know. But it's one of those guns that got a lot of, that you could play Russian roulette with. So, he empties the gun, and he puts one bullet in, I'm assuming. Maybe. And, you know, he puts it in the gun, he spins the chamber, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's called, whatever. So, he was like, he points the gun at Teddy. Let me see. So, Teddy get the, what assurances do I have if I tell you the account numbers you won't kill me? And while he's saying that, Franklin pulls the trigger, and you know Teddy he jumped. But that one don't go off, and he like, man, Teddy, I don't know why you jumped for that. You know, that one only got a 16% murder rate, like kill rate. Like you wouldn't, like it's only 16% chance that you would have died from that first shot. So Teddy, you know, he antsy now. He just for Franklin just made that first shot. He like you won't know what he say. Oh yeah, so Teddy was like, if you kill me, you don't get anything. Franklin was like, well, I get the satisfaction of knowing I killed your ass. And I was like, that'd be good enough for Franklin ass, you know. And then he pulls the trigger again. He said, I get the satisfaction of knowing I killed your ass. And then he pulls it again. So Teddy screams. He's like, wait. So I was loving this. Teddy was scared. So Franklin was like, all right, now that was a 20% chance. So Teddy was like, how do I know? No, he was like, you bluffing. Like, you wouldn't jeopardize killing me for your money if you want your money for real. He's like, it's probably all blanks in those in that gun. Franklin takes the gun, shoots that bitch in the air, and a bullet goes off. So Teddy's like, oh my God, like, he says, you lost your mind. So Franklin was like, yep, let's go again. So Sissy, she stepped in, she like, that's enough. So I'm like, what? No, it's not. Like, I was enjoying it. I was like, no. Because Teddy was, so Franklin steps away with Leon and Sissy. And Franklin was like, what is y'all doing? Like, he was just about to crack. And it was like, yeah, Teddy was giving in a little bit. Or maybe he was making it seem like he was giving in. You know, Teddy's CIA trained and all that. So he trained for situations like this. So maybe it seemed like he about to crack, but maybe not. So he's like, this nigga ain't about to, this nigga was about to crack. Like, he's about to crack. He was like, I just got to stay on him. He was about to give in. So Sissy was like, maybe we should just stop while we're ahead. Talking about, we should just give Teddy to the KGB and take the tapes and run and flee the country. And Franklin was like, what are you talking about? So I don't think Franklin knew about the tapes. But she was just like, yeah, we should just do that. Franklin was like basically not trying to hear that. Leon steps in and he was like, you know, before that, Sissy, she telling him like the obsession with the money is too much and it's destroying their family. This, that, and the third. Leon chimes in and he agrees with Sissy. He was like, maybe she right. Like, maybe y'all should quit while y'all ahead. Telling them like it's always gonna be like looking over your shoulder type shit. And Franklin was like, look, I am never giving up on getting my money. He said, I'm going to get my money back. He was like, everybody cracks. Everybody cracks, B. Everybody cracks, B. So he's saying like Teddy will crack eventually, one way or another. I'm gonna get his ass to crack. So I think Frank was at home at this point. V pops up. Well, not pops up. V comes home because they live together, whatever. She startles him. He pulls a gun on her. So I'm just like, poor V. She just, but not poor V because I don't know at this point. She might not be sneaky. I think it's only one episode left. But she startles him. He pulls the gun on her. He's like, my bad, baby. So she get to come in there telling them about the little downtown property that they supposed to have invested in or something. She says they check bounced. She said she told the people that it was an error or a payment error or something, and to hold all their payments for a minute or something like that. So she get to telling them like, I can stall on payments for our other properties and stuff, but this one for a couple of months. But this one downtown property, like we got to pay on that, or the banks they gonna be geeking to like take ownership, and then we ain't gonna have nothing. She was like, we got to get this money now. And Frankie was like, I'm doing all I can. And V pulls out some cooking oil. So I'm like, okay, what's about to happen here? So now we got this same Veronique and Teddy, V and Teddy, they meet for the first time. So V, she pulled her bag off his head. She's like, hello, Teddy. My name is Veronique. So she starts to tell him this story about her mom never liked to cook in the kitchen because she experienced or saw some type of grease fire or something like that, and gets to talking about she never seen a grease fire in person or up close or something like that. But if she did, she would probably understand why her mom stays out the kitchen, this, that, and third. So, where am I? So she get the, I hope you do the right thing, Teddy. She walks like out the room, but kind of in this background scene. Teddy was like, she seems nice. So Teddy get the, do you remember, you get to ask Franklin, do you remember when you asked me would I be prepared to kill your entire family for this operation? Teddy says, that's who he was, and that's who Franklin is now. You know, he just still trying to stall out. So Franklin says, man, just give me my money. That's all I want. So Teddy says, I can't because I made some promises. You know, he promised his girl. And then he promised, his girl's name is Marissa. I heard her name this episode. So her name is Marissa. He's like, I promised Marissa. And then his CIA friend. His CIA friend name is Havermeyer or something like that. So I heard some names this episode. So he says he made some promises and stuff like that. So Franklin like, I don't give a fuck about your promises. Like, this is your last chance. So Teddy ain't say nothing. So Franklin opens up Teddy's shirt. Teddy like, don't do this. Teddy's like, don't do this, Franklin. Don't do it. So Franklin was like, you making me do this. So Franklin pours the hot cooking grease all over Teddy's chest, and Teddy just screaming like, ah! Like, I can only imagine hot cooking grease. I can only imagine, like, when it pop you when you cooking and stuff. Like, so I can only imagine that shit just being poured in your chest. But Teddy, he's CIA, so he probably used to that type of torture. So the CIA guy, what's it called? What's his name? Havermeyer. I said it's Havermeyer. So he's there at the warehouse, and Marissa shows up. So he gets to asking her, like, when the last time you heard from Teddy, everything you know about Teddy, last time you heard from him, whatever, like that. So she get to talking about, I ain't heard from him since yesterday morning, like, we got engaged, this, that, and the third. So she was like, he was worried about Franklin and the Russians. So she was like, is he okay? So I was like, obviously he don't know, bitch, because he asking you. So I just be like, this bitch, like, come on, catch up. Or maybe she asking that to be like, to try to trying to find out some info. I don't know. Fake act like she ain't in the know. But she know everything. He tells her everything. So we got back with Teddy and Franklin. Teddy laying there. His chest all blistered up from being burnt with the cooking oil. He calls Franklin an animal. And he's like, you're an animal. Franklin says, I am what you made me. So Franklin gets to like, why me? Like, why you take all my money after all I did for you? I had your back, this, that, and the third. So Teddy gets to think, you still think it's all about you. It's like the 70 million in covert funds. You know what that can do for the country? And says it could protect the country against so many people who want to destroy it. He was like, that had to come at a cost or something. Franklin still saying, I'm tired of hearing your bullshit. He was like, man, he says that the Pentagon spends $250 billion a year on shit like this. So like y'all don't need my little chump change. Like if y'all need my little chump change, hell no, y'all don't. So he says, he asks again, he's like, where'd you take my money? Like, where's my money? No, he says, why you take my money? He says, why you take my money? So Teddy gets fed up. He's like, because it wasn't yours. So Franklin gets there, yeah, okay. Like, what? So Teddy was like, it was my drugs. It was my operation. Therefore, I owned you and I allowed you to have it. And when I felt like it was necessary to use it for something else, then that's what I did, this, that, and the third. So Franklin was like, oh, it all comes out now. He was like, do you think what that would do to me and what I would have to do to get it back? And Teddy was like, well, he knew the consequences, this, that, and the third. Franklin was like, and here we are. So he puts more grease on the stove. He starts talking about like you never respected me, Teddy. Like, you never did. You never saw me as like a partner. He was like, I thought we was friends. Thought we'd be friends forever. Thought we'd be having like barbecues in the future, this, that, and the third. I don't know why he thought that. I don't know why Franklin thought that. Franklin was like, so when you said earlier that it was all about me, he was like, nah, it's just, I'm literally all about my money. Like, that's all I care about is my money. He was like, and everything that I got to do to get it, and what I got to do there, and what I got to do to get there. He's like, so don't say shit else about God or countries or the large sacrifice of the country and the government, this, that, and the third. He was like, the fact that you cleaned me out tells me it's all about like you. He was like, at least if you'd have left me like $5 million and told me thank you for my services, like I still would have came after you, but at least I would have been like, okay, he respected me enough. You know, he respected me enough to that he would have respected him enough. He said, but instead Teddy wanted to let him know who was in charge, let him know who was boss. So that's why he took all the money, took everything he had. He says Teddy likes to make the story all about him. Actually, says in the story in Teddy's story, and in Teddy's story, he's always the one that wins, but not today. He's like, not today. He said, you're gonna die alone in this unloved and with no family and no colleagues, no friends. You're gonna die in here. He was like, that's a sad story. He was like, that's your story. So Teddy get that, I wanted to hurt you so bad, says it's to Franklin. And Franklin was like, why? So Teddy was like, Teddy said, because you left me. Like, because Franklin quit the game. But he was hurt too. He was hurt by Louis. He was hurt by Teddy for even accepting Louis' offer. So Teddy was like, because you left me. So Teddy was like, man, how about we just split the money? $37 million is still a lot. He was like, you'll never have to see me again, this, that, and the third. So first, of course, Franklin's hesitant, like, hell no, fuck no, bullshit. But then Franklin ultimately agrees. He was like, all right. He was like, but I'm not releasing you until I get my funds. And he know that he's free. He know that he's safe. He ain't got to look over his shoulder, but which is her. That's a big ask. With Teddy still living at the end of this scenario. So Teddy gets the Hill transfer and wire the money. Says the place they can meet up for the transfer. This, that, and the third. To make Teddy got to make the final. They got to meet up to make the final call or something like that. So Franklin asks, like, what about us? What does this leave us? So Teddy was like, well, I've had my fill, as we can see. He was like, Teddy was like, I got things to live for. I guess he's talking about Marissa. So Franklin asks Teddy again, like, where are the account numbers? Since Franklin agrees to this plan, to this deal, Teddy tells him where he had it, like in his wallet. So Franklin, I'm assuming he got Habermeyer's number from Teddy. He calls Habermeyer. It was like, first Habermeyer was like, who is this? And Franklin was like, you know who the hell this is. You want Teddy? He was like, you want Teddy, give me my money back. He's like, and I got a bonus for you. I got a KGB agent for you. So he offers Ruben up too. So Habermeyer, they talk about a place to meet or whatever. So Sissy, she's still on Franklin. This whole episode, she been on Franklin. And I mean, I get it. She is mother and she trying to look out for him, this, and the third. And I always seen that in Sissy, so I get it. But this episode, she was like super extra. And we see why. I mean, of course, he finally got Teddy, and she been wanting Teddy's for so long. Like he killed Alton, so of course, Teddy. I mean, Sissy turned up this episode, so she asked Teddy like, you really gonna let Teddy go? And Franklin was like, when in 2 hours, Teddy's handler gonna deliver the money. We're gonna do this trade, and everything gonna be over. And Sissy was like, it's not gonna be over if Teddy's still gonna be alive. You just can't. He just can't vanish and leave us alone. Franklin was like, man, for $37 million, I'm willing to take that risk. This and the third. Sissy was like, man, we ain't gonna never be safe if Teddy's still alive. And then I'm in my head like, I don't think Franklin gonna leave Teddy alive. I think he's gonna double cross, try to get his money, and still kill Teddy. Because he made that promise to Gustavo. And if he leaves Teddy alive, Gustavo is definitely gonna go after. Teddy is gonna definitely go after Gustavo. Like he ain't make no agreement with Franklin not to come after Gustavo. So that's a no-brainer. So he's like, yeah, she like, it ain't gonna be safe if we leave Teddy. If we leave Teddy alive. So V tried to chime in on Franklin's behalf, and Sissy gets there. I'm not, shut up. Like, checks her real quick, like, you shut up. And V's like, oh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. So she was like, well, I don't want that. I don't want my grandbaby. She points at V, and I don't want Leon around at this handoff, this exchange. She's like, I want to go with you. Which I thought was weird, because I was like, first off, Sissy don't usually go with him to gangster stuff like this, but at the same time, I was like, I mean, hey, she wanted Teddy. I don't know. But it was weird. I was like, why does she want Teddy so much? It was weird. I mean, not why she want Teddy so much. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say, why did she want to go? It was weird. And why did he allow her to go? I was like, that was weird. So she was like, after the handoff, that they're done. She says her and Franklin are done after this handoff, and that she ain't gonna never see him again. He ain't gonna never see her again. She was like, can you live with that? And he was like, yeah, I can. So I was just like, this is weird. Like, and I thought Franklin would see that was weird. She said, you're not going to see me again after this. Like, that, it was weird. So this final scene, Sissy, she driving Franklin and Teddy to this handoff to meet Hanover. So they get out the car, they walk in. They finally, Hanover finally walks over. So first he asks, like, where's Ruben? He's like, where's the KGB agent? So Franklin tells him, like, he's at a secure location. You know, that's my best LA accent I can give for you. So, like, he at a secure location. He's like, I still don't trust you. He was like, I trusted Teddy McDonald, and look where it got me. This, that, and third. He was like, so when y'all transfer me my money, I will give y'all Ruben. So he tell him that. And he said, when I know y'all ain't fucking with me no more, I give y'all Ruben. Where am I? So Hanover was like, Hannemeyer was like, what if I don't like that deal? So Franklin was like, well, I go to the FBI and make a deal with them. So what's up? So Hannemeyer agrees, and Franklin takes the phone, hands it to Teddy, because Teddy's still handcuffed. So he takes the phone, puts it to Teddy ear. So Teddy on the phone. He calls the bank. So he asks for the like something about the accounts, whatever. He calls the bank. He on the phone with the bank, and of course they put him on hold. So as he on hold, Sissy walks over and is like, "Tell me what jail Alton is in." So at this moment, I was like, "Oh snap!" But then Teddy get the what? Are you serious? He was like, "Alton's dead. I was fucking with you. Like I shot him twice and dumped him in the river." I was like, "Bro, stop what you doing. Stop what you doing." Cause I said, bro, cause I realized I thought Alton was still alive, and I guess I was wrong. But still, why didn't they show us his body? I was thrown off. Or maybe they did, and I just forgot. Maybe they did, and I probably would have been watching this and would have been like, oh, he lying to you, Sissy. Whole time they probably did show it. Now I'm thinking about it, maybe they did. I don't know, but he was like, girl, I shot him twice and dumped his body. So Sissy looked so defeated, so upset, so she gets to stepping back. So Teddy, he back on the phone with the banker. So as he's about to give... Wait, am I jumping to the gun? Literally. Yeah, so Teddy about to get a password. And you can see Franklin's face light up like a little kid in a candy store. He was like, And as soon as Teddy was about to get a password, Sissy turns around, shoots him twice in the chest. So Franklin like, no! He's screaming like, no, oh my God, like what did you do? So he immediately runs over to Teddy. People start screaming and stuff, and you can start to hear the sirens or whatever. And Hannemeyer, he immediately steps off. He like, oh, well, I'm gone. So he steps off. So Franklin, he grabs the phone. He telling the banker like, hold on, yeah, he's still on the phone. Hold on. So he grabbing Teddy too, trying to get Teddy to like, he's like, Teddy, say the password. What's the password? What's the password? So he trying to get Teddy to say the password. Teddy laying there, he dying basically, or basically already dead. So Franklin, he turns to Sissy, and although I know he pissed at Sissy in this moment, that's still his mother. So he like, come on, Mom. He's like, come on, Mom, we gotta go. So Sissy, she gets down on her knees and she puts her hands up like she's surrendering. So she like goodbye, Franklin. She says goodbye, Franklin. So that's what she meant by like, we're not gonna see each other again. Like after this, me and you, we done, Franklin. So she like goodbye, Franklin. So Franklin, he looking at her like oh my God. So he runs off. He runs off. So the police, they come up to Sissy. They like, put your hands up. They like drop the gun. She still had the gun in her hand. So she drops the gun and complies. And they arrest her. And she just sitting. As she getting arrested, she just staring at Teddy. He laying there dead. And the dial tone, the banker, they done hung up. So now it's just the dial tone going off. And it was just like, that's how it ended. And I was just like, oh man. I know Franklin about to be pissed. So what does this mean now? Like, Teddy dead, so I think it's only one episode left. If they're giving us 10 episodes, maybe they give us a 13-episode finale since it's the last season. I don't know, but damn, that was good. So like I said, I grade this episode a B+, yeah. Because it was kind of slow. Like, it's mostly in the warehouse, them just talking about their relationship, Teddy and Franklin. So that's why I said I give it a B+. But it was still good, though. Now, my predictions for this finale, if this is the finale, Teddy's dead now. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I'm so lost now. Havemeyer knows who Franklin is, so he might come after them. Since he might get killed in prison or something. Franklin, I don't know. He better just dip somewhere with V. They might as well dip now. I wonder if Havemeyer will come after Leon and them. I don't know. But this episode was just crazy. Teddy's dead now. Gustavo, I feel like that was the last time we was going to see him. So I feel like this finale is like wrapping up. What's going to happen with Louis? Like, Louis on the run now from the DEA. And DEA, they want to catch somebody. Franklin going to be basically on the run from the DEA and the CIA and the KGB. What are you going to do with Ruben now? Probably going to have to kill Ruben. But then again, Havemeyer might have the passwords and stuff too. So Franklin might try to reach back out to Havemeyer, get them passwords in exchange for Ruben. That might happen. But yeah, those are my predictions for this maybe season finale, or they might give us a couple more episodes, whatever the case may be. But yeah, thanks for watching with me. Yeah, like this video. Hit the notification bell if you want. That way it'll let you know exactly when I'm posting. Share this video and subscribe to my channel because I do review other shows. And yeah, see y'all next time. Peace.